You ever wake up thinking it's just another lazy morning, only to have your whole world flipped by two goons in polo shirts? Because let me tell you, nothing says, "Welcome to the neighborhood," like having your wife shoved around in your own front hallway by the HOA. No less. Yeah, that happened. Here's the thing. I moved to Willow Glen to get away from all the craziness. After 20-something years of undercover work, cartels, arms dealers, you name it, all I wanted was backyard barbecues and a little peace and quiet with Grace. My wife. She's the real deal. Sweet. Tough as nails. The kind of person who'd rather bring you a casserole than start a fight. So when I found her out front, shaking, blood on her lip, clutching a crumpled citation, you better believe something inside me snapped. Across the street, two HOA compliance officers, Hank, built like a linebacker with a face for radio, and his sidekick Wes, who looked like the kind of guy who picks fights with traffic cones, were walking away, laughing like they just won the lottery. Next time won't be just a warning. Lady, Hank shouted. Wes snickered. You know the type. I should have seen it coming. Honestly. Little stuff kept piling up, letters about our trash cans, the mailbox, even the illegal color of our front door. Grace always said, let's just follow the rules and stay under the radar. That worked for a while, until it didn't. The real fireworks started over a clothesline. Grace had strung it up in our backyard. Nowhere near the street. Just for the smell of fresh sheets. You know? But the next day, Hank and Wes show up, acting like the FBI, clipboard in hand. Hank leans in too close. We have our ways, he says. You could smell the power trip on him. He even had a little bulge under his belt, not exactly standard HOA equipment. Unless your HOA issues sidearms. Here's where it gets wild. Couple weeks later, I head out for a jog, me one vice left from the old days. When I get back, Grace is icing her arm. Lip split again. A giant citation nailed to our door for the neighbors to see. Turns out Hank and Wes barged in while I was gone, demanding to search for the clothesline violation. Grace stood her ground. So Wes shoved her and Hank pushed right past her like he owned the place. I saw the bruises. And all that old training just switched on. Grace wanted to call the cops. But in a town where the HOA president plays golf with the sheriff, I didn't trust anyone to play it straight. So, I did what I do best, gathered evidence, watched their routine, and made a plan. Here's the twist, turns out. I wasn't the only one fed up. Mrs. Bellows, who everyone thinks is just a harmless old lady with a cat army. She'd been writing down every time Hank's crew came by her house, noting their finds. Even snapped a few photos. Team Bellows. Who knew? Armed with her log, my camera, and the support of Mr. Tran, our ex-principal neighbor. Still sharp as a tack, I set the trap. I stuck a pink flamingo in the front yard. Dead center. Knowing it was on Hank's hit list, I set up hidden cameras everywhere and let word leak out that Grace would be home alone again. Just like before. Sure enough, Thursday morning, Hank and Wes roll up in that ridiculous golf cart. They bang on the door. Grace answers, phone in hand. Hank starts his spiel. That's a $200 violation. But we can take care of it right now if you pay cash. Grace holds firm. Leave the citation in the mailbox. Gentlemen. Wes tries his tough guy routine again, steps in. Blocks her. Grabs her arm. That's when I step out. Looking for me. My voice is low. Steady. They freeze. I starting. I make sure they see my phone's recording too. Funny thing. I say, last time you were here, you forgot to smile for the cameras. Hank sneers. But his eyes are darting around. And Wes's hand is twitching toward his belt. You're trespassing. I remind them. and carrying concealed. Want to explain that to the real police? Wes tries to puff up. You don't know who you're messing with. I laugh, can't help it. Son, I spent 23 years with people who make you look like mall cops. The difference is, they had better lawyers. Cue the real twist. My backup, Officer Mia Perez, quietly walks up the driveway. She flashes her badge. We got a problem here. Boys? Suddenly, Hank's sweating bullets. I hand her the video footage. Grace's medical photos. And Mrs. Bellows' log. Mia's no pushover. She calls for backup. Frisks them. And guess what? They're packing heat and carrying over $3,000 in cash. Plus a ledger with names and fines, half of which never made it into HOA accounts. It felt good. Not gonna lie. Watching those two get cuffed in front of the whole street, yeah. That was satisfying. But the fallout? Oh. It was even better. At the next HOA meeting, folks lined up to tell their stories. Turns out Hank and his cronies had been bullying half the neighborhood for years. The board president resigned. New elections were called. And suddenly, nobody wanted to be in charge of compliance. Even Grace stepped up to help write new rules with Mrs. Bellows right by her side. Flamingo pin and all. But here's the thing. Even after the dust settled, I found myself checking the locks twice at night. Watching cars that parked a little too long. Old habits and all. The Flamingo is still out front now. It's a running joke. A little symbol that sometimes the only way to get peace is to fight for it. So, here's my question for you. Where do you draw the line? If someone crosses into your home, threatens your family, do you just roll over or do you push back? Ever had an HOA nightmare of your own? Drop a comment below. Let's get into it. What's justice? What's over the line? And when does standing up make you the villain in someone else's story? I'll be down there in the comments, waiting to hear your take. Because in Willow Glen, we learn the hard way sometimes. It takes a community to take down the real neighborhood bullies. And sometimes, it starts with just one plastic flamingo.